Ranga's Marriage by Masti Venkatesh Iyengar. This story is a humorous story narrated in a very humorous style. In this story, the style of narration is as if the narrator is sitting in front of us and talking to us and telling us. Look at the way the story has been narrated and see the humorous part and wherever the author has used the humor in the narration. Masti Venkatesh Iyengar was a well-known writer in Kannada language. He was the fourth among Kannada writers to be honored with Gyanpith Award, the highest literary honor conferred in India. He was popularly referred to as Masti Kannada Asti, which means Masti Kannada's uh, treasure. He is most renowned for his stories. He wrote under the pen name Srinivas. He was honored with the title Raj uh, Sevasakt by then Maharaja of Mysore, Nalwadi Krishnaraja Wadiyar. So now we start with Ranga. The accountant's son is one of the rare breed among the village folk who has been to the city to pursue his studies. When he returns to his village from the city of Bangalore, the crowds mill around his house to see whether he has changed or not. His ideas about marriage are now quite different, or are they? So, this is a story of that particular time when very few people went from villages to bigger cities for higher studies. And as we all know, that something which happens for the first time is always a case of curiosity for the people. And so was the case with this boy named Ranga. So, narrator starts, and in the beginning, he is justifying why he gave the title Ranga's Marriage. When you see this title, some of you may ask, Ranga's Marriage, why not Rangnath Viva or Rangnath Vijay? So, narrator has his own way of justifying why he gave the title Ranga's Marriage. He says that yes, there could have been some mouth-filling, attractive titles such as Jagannath Vijay or Girija Kalyan. But then he says that neither it is the story of Jagannath's victory or Girija's wedding. It was about Ranga's own marriage, and so he gave the title Ranga's Marriage. And then he talks about his village. Hoshahali is our village. You must have heard of it. See the way he is narrating the story as if he is talking to us. Then he knows what would be the answer. So he says, no, oh, what a pity. But it's not your fault. There's no mention of it in any geography book. Those sahibs in England writing in English probably do not know that such a place exists and so make no mention of it. Our own people too forget about it. So he says that from British time, the things have been like this. The Britishers, they did not find mentioning the name of his village. They considered it to be insignificant. And when India got independence, the people who were looking after the whole things, they also forgot about it. Just like the flock of sheep, one sheep walks into a pit, the rest blindly follow it. Here we see uh, the narrator is a little bit sarcastic about the attitude of the people. When both the sahibs in England and our own geographers have not referred to it, you cannot expect the poor cartographer to remember. Cartographer, who is cartographer? Cartographer is someone who plots the map. And so these are the reasons why uh, his village is nowhere mentioned on the maps. Then he says that okay, he started with something, but then he moved to some direction. But it was because whenever there was any reference to his village, he was just like what you can say, too much fond of his village, and he is so what you can say thinking high of his village that he says that if the state of Mysore is to Bharatvarsha what the sweet Karikadabu is to a festive meal, then Hoshahali is to Mysore what the filling is to the Karikadabu. Now Karikadabu is something we can compare with our dish, that is gujia. And you know what is gujia? Gujia, there is some feeling or something like that which makes it tasty. Now suppose imagine if there were no feeling in that gujia, how would it taste? So it says that as Mysore is important to Bharatvarsh, that is India, and sweet karigadabu is very important for any festive meal. Similarly, Hoshahali is as important to Mysore state what the filling is to the karigadabu. Means if there will be no filling in karigadabu, it will be tasteless. Similarly, if there is no Hoshahali in Mysore state will be tasteless. And he says that he has all the right to say it. People may object, but then he will stick to what he thinks. We have a doctor in our place. His name is Gundavat. He agrees with me. He has been to quite a few places. No, not England. This is again general attitude of the people of that time. That if you have visited England, foreign country, oh, then you have visited the places. But he says no, not England. And when someone asks the doctor about it, he says, no, Anna, I have left that to you. Running around like a flea-pestered dog is not for me. I have seen a few places in my time, though. As a matter of fact, he has seen many. We have some mango trees in our village. Come visit us, and I'll give you a raw mango from one of them. Do not eat it. Just take a bite. The soreness is sure to go straight to your Brahman, that is the head. So sore that mango is. He says that he took one such fruit home and a chutney was made out of it. Everyone ate and then everyone suffered from cough. And when he went to the doctor told him about the special quality of the fruit. He says that just as mango is special, everything in his village is special. There is a creeper which grows in the village pond and its flowers are beautiful. So whenever you go for taking a bath, you can just take two leaves and you don't have to worry about plate when you have when you are served for the afternoon meal. Now at this point he realizes that he had started with something and now he is talking only about his villages. So he says that yes, I am rambling. But then whenever the subject of his village comes, he is very emotional to it. And then he finally says that okay, if you want to know more about Hoshali, you can always come over there. Now he comes to the story. What I am going to tell you is something that happened 10 years ago. We did not have many people who knew English then. Our village accountant was the first one who had enough courage to send his son to Bangalore to study. It is different now. There are many who know English. During the holidays, you come across them on every street talking in English. Those days, we did not speak in English, nor did we bring in English words while talking in. So, narrator is little bit bitter about it. He is unhappy about people using English words into the local language. He feels that this has distorted the native language and he is not happy about it. What has happened? That's what he says. What has happened is disgraceful, believe me. The other day I was in Ramarao's house when they bought a bundle of firewood. Ramarao's son came to pay for it. He asked the woman, how much should I give? 4 pi. She said the boy told her he did not have any change. So the word change was used. Now that poor woman, she did not know what was the meaning of it, and she went away muttering to herself. Narrator says even he did not know what was the meaning of the word change. He came to know it when he inquired from Ranga. Now see, even today when we go to the market, this is the common word we use. Change nahi hai. But very few people you may have heard saying that chutta nahi hai ya khudra nahi hai. So that is how this language has come and it has taken control over the native language. The priceless commodity, the English language, was not so widespread in our village a decade ago. That was why Ranga's homecoming was a great event. So Ranga had gone to Bangalore, a great event, and his coming back was bigger event. Everyone was excited. Everyone was anxious to see him. Everyone, when they came to know about that Ranga has returned from Bangalore, they all rushed towards his house, shouting, Ranga has come back. The boy who went to Bangalore has come back. Let's go and have a look at it. Now, narrator was attracted by the crowd, and so he also went there and stood in the courtyard. He inquired from the people that why everyone has come over there. There was no performing monkey there. A boy, a fellow without any brains, said loud enough for everyone to hear. What are you doing here then? And this was not liked by author. He felt that this was not the right way to answer any senior. A youngster, immature and without any manners, thinking that all these things were now of the past, I kept quiet. Now, seeing so many people there, Ranga came out with a smile on his face. Had we all gone inside, the place would have turned into what people call the Black Hole of Calcutta. Now, this Black Hole of Calcutta, it is a historical event. It is said, though much exaggerated by the British historians, that when Sirajudollah attacked uh, Fort George in Calcutta, he everyone fled away. There were few women and the old people who stayed back, and they were kept in a room which had only a capacity of 20 to 30, and there were around 70, 80 people who were kept in that, and many of them died with suffocation. And that particular part is referred by historians as Black Hole of Calcutta. Now, a similar scene would have happened if every one of the village would have entered Ranga's house. But then Ranga came out. And when Ranga came out, everyone was surprised because he looked the same. There was no change, no difference. One of the women old woman who was standing over there, she just pressed her hand over the shirt and she felt that genou, and she was very happy that he was still wearing genou. Once everyone realized that Ranga still had the same hands, leg, eyes and nose, everyone must have thought that Ranga has come back from Bangalore, so he must have four hands, four eyes or something like that, maybe in the avatar of Dasanan or something like that. But when they saw that Ranga was still the same, slowly the crowd melted away. When everyone had gone, Ranga saw the narrator standing over there. And then narrator said, "How are you, Rangappa? Is everything well with you?" It was only then that Ranga noticed me. He came near me and did a namaskar respectfully, saying, "I am all right with your blessings." I must draw your attention to this aspect of Ranga's character. He knew when it would be to his advantage to talk to someone and rightly assess people's worth. As for his namaskar to me, he did not do it like any present-day boy with his head up towards the sun, standing stiff like a pole without joints, jerking his body as if it was either a wand or a walking stick. Nor did he merely fold his hands. He bent low to touch my feet. "May you get married soon," I said, blessing him after exchanging a few pleasantries. Now here again, narrator is sarcastic about the way the namaskar is being done in the modern times, as if the person who is, what is actually the way we pay respect to our elders? We bend and with both our hands touch the feet of the elder. But now what it has happened, it is just people are bending their backs as if they are suffering from backache or something like that. So that is what he is saying, that he did not do it like that. Huh? Uh, Standing stiff like a pole without joints, jerking his body as if it was either a wand or a walking stick. He did the proper namaskar, and a narrator was very much impressed about it. That afternoon, when he was resting, Ranga came to my house with a couple of oranges in his hand. Generally, it is a tradition that whenever we visit someone, we don't go empty handed. We take some sweet or fruit or something like that. And this was also very much liked by the narrator. A generous, considerate fellow. It would be a fine thing to have him marry, settle down, and be of service to society. I thought. For a while we talked about this and that, and then I came to point. "Rangappa, when do you plan to get married?" So he finally, after talking other things, he finally came to the point that had he any plan to get married? And Ranga straight away said, "I am not going to get married now." So narrator asked, "Why not?" "I need to find the right girl. I know an officer who got married only 6 months ago. He's about 30 and his wife is 25, I am told. They will be able to talk lovingly to each other. Let's say I married a very young girl. She may take my words spoken in love as words spoken in anger. Recently, a troupe in Bangalore staged the play Shakuntala. There's no question of Dushyant falling in love with Shakuntala if she were young, like the present day brides. is there. What would have happened to Kalidasa's play? If one gets married, it should be to a girl who is mature. Otherwise, one should remain a bachelor. That's why I am not marrying now. So it was a great disappointment for narrator because Ranga's view of marriage was something different. He wanted someone grown enough to understand the relationship, and he felt that if the person was young and immature, the relationship would not have that much of firmness as it should have. But then, when he was answering such thing, narrator had some suspicion because he has remained in Bangalore for some time. So he asked, is there any other reason? He wanted to just find out whether Ranga had anything else in his mind. But Ranga gave the reason. A man should marry a girl he admires. What we have now are arranged marriages. How can one admire a girl with milk stains on one side of her face and wetness on the other, or so young that she doesn't even know how to bite her fingers? So Ranga again uh, emphasizes upon his point that the both the partners should be mature enough to understand the relationship. And author said, okay, one a neem fruit, other a bitter god. That is what a famous saying we have in our language also. Ek to karela duja neem chada. Exactly, Ranga said laughing. I was distressed that the boy who I thought would make good husband had decided to remain a bachelor. After chatting for a little longer, Ranga left. I made up my mind right then that I would get him married. But author was determined, narrator was determined. He said that yes, he decided once Ranga left that place, he decided that he was going to get Ranga married, and he started thinking over his plans.